This is Adia, the Trendy Socialite. I'm also the creator and founder of International Natural Hair Meetup Day, iGrind Naturally, and creator of the brand new event planning cohort. Today I'm here to share with you about an exciting opportunity where you can invest in yourself through a series of topic-specific, but I think very impactful webinars that will help you in your blogging life, your vlogging life, event planning life, small business life. And I'm talking about the iGrind Naturally Bootcamp Webinar Series. The iGrind Naturally Bootcamp Series is a series of webinars designed for bloggers and vloggers and hairstylists and small business owners and brand owners and event planners and coaches and consultants in the natural hair development, beauty, fashion, and wellness communities. It is a time where I share information with you about various topics that I think are really impactful and things for you to consider in your particular niche or area of expertise. These webinars are highly interactive. I answer questions on the fly, I answer questions at the end, and they are chock full of information. As much as I try to keep my webinars to an hour, maybe an hour and a half, they typically go at least 2 hours because of the level of interaction and questions, and I really want to make sure people leave with things that are leave with things that they can implement as soon as they hang up from the phone or exit out of the webinar. And from the feedback that I've gotten, my last webinar, people had 8 pages of notes and just sharing with me how their community has grown and how their brand and their niche has grown as a result of these webinars. So I want to share with you these webinars, and I think that they will help you, that they will give you information that you can use and implement in your particular niche or area of passion. I love webinars for many reasons, and I think that there are many benefits to webinars. One of my top reasons is the fact that they are convenient. I don't have to get dressed, I don't have to do my hair or put on hair or any of those things in order to engage in a webinar. I can do it in pajamas, I can do it at home, and it is just extremely convenient. It's easy to connect. A lot of times you can connect from your phone, you can connect from your tablet, you can connect from your computer. You just need a reliable internet connection. You may have to download an app or two depending on the webinar engine that I use, but other than that, it's super easy to connect to various webinars. They are also topic specific, which means that rather than getting a broad overview of many different topics, I really delve in. As Dr. Phil can say, I put verbs in my sentences, and I share with you action items and apps and tools and best practices and thoughts and ideas that I have about these subjects. So you do not get a very cursory generalization about these things. I really do go as in depth as possible on these particular topics. Like I said, they are interactive. There's a chat box where you can submit your questions. I also open up phone lines for questions live as well. I don't shy away from those things. I may not always have all of the answers, but you can best believe I have an opinion or an idea or something along those lines, or direction to send you in to find the information that you're looking for. Lastly, and I think most importantly, it's an investment in yourself. Let me read you this quote from billionaire Warren Buffett. Investing in yourself is the best thing you can do. Anything that improves your own talents, nobody can tax it or take it away from you. They can run up huge deficits and the dollar can become worth far less. You can have all kinds of things happen. But if you've got talent yourself and you've maximized your talent, you've got a tremendous asset that can return tenfold. That's one of my favorite parts about webinars. For a very, very nominal investment in yourself, you can have talent and tips and best practices and techniques and all kinds of things that you not only can use right now, but you can use well into the future. You can continue to compound that knowledge and create just a level of expertise, a level of excellence that far surpasses all of your competition, which anyone else that may be doing something similar to you. It sets you apart. When you invest in yourself, it says that, hey, I'm worth it. And if you won't invest in yourself, who else will? The topics for this year's iGrind Naturally webinar are, and I'm so excited to be able to share these with you, there are 9 webinars in this series. The first one is branding yourself in the natural hair community. And I'm essentially going to talk to you about what I feel like branding is and how it relates specifically to the natural hair community. This also is helpful though for people in beauty and fashion. A lot of it is interchangeable in terms of you just sort of insert it into your particular community. I talk about the 3 C's of personal branding. I talk about tools and apps and techniques that really help you to start to build your community, which is ultimately the foundation and the basis for really getting to that next level when it comes to your business or your niche or your area of expertise. The next one is brand new to the bootcamp, and that is the 3 P's of successful events. So whether you do virtual events, webinars like this, or whether you do face-to-face events, I'm going to talk about the 3 P's that are essential for you to have a successful event. Secondly is one that is highly requested. I get lots and lots of questions about this all the time, and that I'm going to talk about how you can effectively seek sponsorships. I'm going to talk about the strategies to really help develop a relationship with sponsors that is mutually beneficial for both you and the sponsor. The next webinar is about how you can plan events remotely. I'm starting to do, I guess, what you would call like a little tour circuit with events, and so I get a lot of questions about how I do that, how I can plan an event in New York and I am in North Carolina or in Atlanta or even in Charlotte, not in my same state. So I'm going to talk to you about my process and my plans and how I plan events remotely so that you can get some of the tips and the best practices that will help you to plan a quality event that's hopefully as stress-free as possible. The next iGrind Naturally Bootcamp webinar is about networking and developing relationships. I get this question a lot. People ask me, well, how do you know this person? How are you able to connect with this person? And a lot of it has to do with my networking style and how I connect with people and why I connect with people. A couple of things that influence that is, one, I read a book many years ago called The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell, and it talked about the 4 types of people that contributed to something going basically viral or an epidemic. And it can be a good epidemic, like you remember when the Hush Puppies were really popular, or it can be a bad epidemic. But there's still kind of these 4 people that are in the process of it reaching its tipping point where it becomes at this frenzied level of popularity. And when I read that book, I realized that I'm 2 types of people in that book. One, I'm a maven. I'm an information maven. I do love information, and I don't know, I just have this ability to be able to research and find exactly what it is that I'm looking for or the exact answer to the question relatively quickly. And so, like, my friends will call me and say, hey, I knew you would be able to know this or find the information about this, so where can I find X, Y, and Z? And usually in a few minutes, maybe a day or so, I'm able to get that information to them. Secondly, I am a connector. And honestly, that has been both nature and nurture. My father is the epitome of a connector. He knows a lot of people. He's able to connect people that have similar needs and interests, or one has something that the other one needs and vice versa. And so I have been able to watch that, model that, and actually do that. So I'm going to share with you So I'm going to share with you my tips, my best practices on networking and developing relationships that will hopefully benefit you in planning events and building your following and building your business as well. I'm really excited about this. This is another new webinar that I'll be offering during the iGrind Naturally Bootcamp, and that is the VIP experience. I have been fortunate enough to sort of create what I think is a best practice as it relates to the VIP experience, and as a result, the last event I did down in Charlotte, I was able to sell out my VIP tickets within 24 hours. So during this webinar, you're going to find out how I was able to do that. And I'll share with you formulas and tips and suggestions for that. There's never enough time in a day. There's never enough hours in the day for us to be able to get everything done that we would like to get done. But there are some tips and some tricks and some even apps that can help increase your time management and your productivity. So I'm actually going to do a webinar on time management and productivity. Some of this is going to be do as I say, not as I do, because hey, I'm a procrastinator. But I know how to procrastinate. And I'm even going to share with you some of my tips on how to plan to procrastinate during this particular webinar. If you are wondering how you can manage job and family and your passion and building a business and all of those things, you want to be a part of this time management and productivity webinar. A pretty popular webinar that I've done before, but I'm updating and revamping it, is how to recruit, train, and retain event volunteers and staff. This webinar is so popular because all of us either have event volunteers or even paid staff that work at our events. And so I'm going to share with you, I have managed volunteers, especially through church events, through employment. I've worked in the nonprofit sector for many years, so I do have some tips and some tricks and some best practices when it comes to recruiting them, training them, but as well retaining them, so you're not having to go through the recruitment and training process over and over again. And then lastly, but certainly not least, is effectively marketing your event. Emphasis on effectively. In this webinar, I'm going to talk to you about what you need to do to increase the conversion of your event, for somebody just liking a status or double tapping on Instagram to actually doing whatever that call to action is for your event, which is probably to buy a ticket. So we're going to talk about how to effectively market your event, what to do if you're a first-time host or if you're a first-time event planner doing an event in your area, and how your marketing style may have to differ a little bit from those of us that already have a connection with our audience, our local audience. So you definitely want to be a part of this webinar as well. I do hope at least one of these webinars has piqued your interest, and I hope that all of them have piqued your interest in the iGrind Naturally Bootcamp series. Now here's how you can invest in yourself in it. You can go to my website trendysocialite.com/iGrindBootcamp for more information about this particular You can go to my website, trendysocialite.com/iGrindBootcamp, for more information about how you can invest in yourself through this bootcamp webinar series. There are currently a couple of levels of connection. There is a webinar attendee, and all webinar attendees will be able to participate in the live webinar, obviously, but you will also get a link to the recording of that particular webinar, usually within a week to 10 days after that webinar has been completed. And for those of you that are interested, there is also a VIP webinar experience where you will get 60 minutes worth of coaching with me, one-on-one coaching, and as well as the 9 webinars and a link to their recording. So go right now to my website, trendysocialite.com/ So go right now to my website, trendysocialite.com/ iGrind Bootcamp for more information and to register and to invest in yourself through the iGrind Naturally Bootcamp webinar series. If you have any questions, you can email me at thetrendsocialite.com, or you can, if you have any questions, you can either email me at thetrendsocialite@gmail.com, or there's a actual form on this particular web page where you can leave a question for me as well. As always, take care and be blessed.